Hey there, everybody, and thanks for joining us for Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link virtual studios. I'm Bob Woods, and Bryn Tillman, Stan Robinson Jr. are here as well. How y'all doing today?
Great. How are you?
Doing
Excellent.
well. Stan?
Excellent. Thank you.
Good. Excellent. Always glad to hear. So, getting that sale, getting the client to sign the proverbial dotted line. Always great, don't get me wrong. Now, I wanna say "but" here, but it's really more like a "yes, and," like from improv comedy. We'd like to get more from our clients. That's why today we're gonna talk about some of the additional things, items, whatever you wanna call them, that we can gain from our clients. And these can be new or old clients too, right, guys?
Absolutely. They could be current or someone you worked with years ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
definitely don't forget about past clients because they
yes.
can be gold mine.
New, old, and past.
In
So
fact,
we have a
before
third
we
item.
jump into this, the five things we want from our clients, I'm going to throw out go take inventory of the people you've worked with in the last 5 years. Just not just the companies, but the actual people that you've worked with inside of the organization, because you'll see what we're about to teach you can be used. And chances are you've worked with dozens and dozens of people that you're forgetting about. So this is a great time to go back and say, who have I served over the years?
Yep. Could not agree more with that. So with that, um, let's get into our agenda here. And Bryn's going to go first with just more business within the client's company.
Yeah, so a lot of times we get into an organization with either a small group of people like a pilot, or maybe only one department was interested in what you had to offer. And there's a lot more opportunity inside of that organization. The other side of that is we may have more than one solution we can offer. So the first thing, which is we would like more business from a current client, is to make sure that we have really had deep conversations with not just our champion, but other folks inside of the organization, even to share with them the successes that we're having with one group. It's good for them to know. In fact, sometimes I'll send a message uh, or have a champion send a message, say, hey, I'd love for you to hear a little bit about what we're doing. If nothing else, just to loop you in. And so that becomes an opportunity, which I may have just now crossed over into number two, which was a fine line. So
There definitely is a fine line there, but I think that there's enough to separate them. So that's probably a perfect way to just roll into Stan with specifically internal introductions within a company.
Yes. Um, One of the things that happens in every company is turnover. We may not want to talk about it, but it happens. And I think LinkedIn stats are about 20% a year turnover in most organizations. So 1 in 5 people are not going to be there next year, someone else. So we talk about multi-threading, having multiple contacts within an organization so you're not reliant on just one champion.
mhm.
Because regardless of how well your champion loves you, is excited about your solution, if they get a better job opportunity someplace else and leave, unless you're connected to other people within the organization, you're starting over again. So while you have them, make sure that you ask them, you know, who else should I be talking to here? Who are your peers? Who do you report to? Who reports to you? And can you introduce me to them as well? Uh, Take advantage of that, because the more connections you have within an organization, the happier you will be.
Bob, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I did actually because and Stan can go on this a little bit more, but that's a great place where Sales Navigator comes in. If you're a Sales Navigator user, to actually map within the company who some of these people are potentially, and you can even come back to the person with specific names and say, hey, is this person involved, or however you want to put it, so that you're coming in actually from a bit more of a position of strength, especially because it may be a person that your champion may not have thought of initially, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that'd be another great person to be in contact with as well."
I think that's brilliant. And, in our pre call planning, often we don't think about creating the buyer map inside of an organization of all the people we want to meet. But I think that what you're saying in Sales Navigator, and you could do it in the free LinkedIn, but it is so much more powerful in Sales Navigator. It does help your champion in that step too, which is we'd like internal introduction. So absolutely magic. I love that, Bob. And this is a phrase people might have heard used over the years called multi-threading. This is multi-threading inside an organization. Okay, that was fun. That was awesome.
Anything to add there, Stan?
Just that what you said about you do the work for people rather than asking them to think about, okay, who do I know in the midst of everything else they've got on their mind? So you do the work, identify the people, and as Bob said, you push the easy button and say, hey, would Bob Woods be one of the people that I should get to know?
And we're actually going to take that nugget into number 3, which is external introductions. Now, this one gets misunderstood all of the time. When people hear external introductions, they immediately think, oh God, here comes the awkward referral ask, and everybody dreads it. That ain't what this is.
Especially the that's what people dread.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this is not about putting your client in an uncomfortable spot. And it's definitely not about saying, hey, who else do you know that might want to buy from me? And just kind of leave it like that. Because that's lazy. It puts all the pressure on them. And that's where what we just talked about comes in as well. So a couple things here. If you've done your job well, if you've actually helped them, supported them, guided them, educated them, brought about success because of what you've done for them, they're going to want to help you. They just don't know how to unless and until you make it easy. So you heard it before. You're going to hear it again. Pull up their connections. See who you would like to meet. Use the filters in LinkedIn search. And if you have Sales Navigator search to help you. And then make that list. So next, you're not going to ask that vague finger snapping question like I just said. You're going to say something like this. I happen to notice that you're connected to quite a few people who I'll be reaching out to in the next couple of weeks. I was wondering if you'd be open to sharing any insights about them before I do. Are you available for a 10-minute Zoom call? So you're actually setting up a little mini meeting ahead of time. That's respectful, permission-based, very different from a referral ambush. And it's also taking pressure off of them because they're not having to think, oh, who is this going to be? This person is going to come to me with specific names that I'll hopefully be able to help them out with. So there's a lot of pressure actually taken off of that point. And then there's one other thing. Always offer to give referrals as well. There's definitely a two-way street going. And you should always be thinking about referrals in general too, that you can make to other people, especially with people who you just meet. It's like, oh, I just met this person. You know who might want to meet with them? Bryn or whoever. Make introductions there. So, I mean, it's all about giving.
I love that. The little bit of a legitimate hack. It's a hack, but you can do this. Often, if you have the free LinkedIn, you get very minimal folks when you search someone's connections. It gives you kind of a random sampling of who they know that you want to meet. However, if you create a search of that ICP, that ideal customer profile, and you use the first degree connection filter, take that URL. That is a generic URL for anyone. It's not just your first degree connections. Whomever would use that URL would then see their first degree connections. So if you're working with a client on referrals, you may just say, here's a list of the people you're connected to that match the types of folks that I would like to have a conversation with. And you don't even have to review the names with them. You could say, of these folks, who on this list do you think I should not be reaching out to? Who should I be reaching out to? And who can you introduce me to? So then you'll get that full list because they can see 100% of their first degree connections that match that criteria.
Excellent. Excellent. Anything to add there, Stan?
That is one of those ninja tricks that most people would never think of. And once you see it, it's one of these mind-blown moments.
Yeah, Bryn should have put on her ninja mask for that one because that would have been.
We are unmasked here at Social Sales Link.
This is a good point. Yes, this is a very good point. This is a very good point. With that, we're going to get into number 4, which is something that a lot of people don't think about, but yet can be very, very powerful, and that's vendor introductions, Bryn.
Oh, I get this one. I love this one.
Mhm.
So vendor introductions are some of the most powerful opportunities for growing your business. You can meet networking people in events. You can meet folks even on LinkedIn where you're serving similar clients, and that's a great relationship to grow for introductions. However, sometimes there's a little risk, right? This is someone that you don't know how great they are at what they do. And you may not be comfortable introducing them into some of your top clients. However, what we want from our clients is potentially a list of the vendors they use that they love. So let's say you're a financial advisor. I would like an introduction into their CPA. I'd like an introduction into their estate attorney or their contracts attorney, right? Who are the folks that my client is working with that they love? And now when I can connect with this person, even if I reach out and say, hey, Bob, you and I both work with Stan. I had a little conversation. Your name came up and I thought it made sense for us to connect and just get on the same page, if nothing else, right? And so now I start a relationship with a vendor that has been vetted by my client. I can feel very comfortable introducing that person into someone else in my network because I can say, hey, one of my clients uses Stan and loves him, right? Or Bob, I forget which one was the example, right? But so now I can introduce and refer with confidence, and they can introduce and refer with confidence for the same reason. So when we can meet the vendors of our customers, it can really be a great opportunity. There's a side opportunity to that. When I say to Stan, hey, Stan, who are you using for your CPA? And say, I had this great guy, but the company got merged into some other company and I don't even know who I'm working with now. I'm like, hey, I've got a few other CPAs that my other clients have worked with and loved. Are you open to a few introductions? And you can see if there's someone that might better fit your needs. And now I can make 2 or 3 introductions into my networking partners, and Stan can make a decision on who makes the most sense for him. But I've kind of built, they say you have to put money in the bank, deposits in the bank before you withdraw. These are like huge deposits that you're making. So I love asking my clients for introductions into other vendors. For us, it's their sales trainers, or if they have a marketing partner like a HubSpot implementer or someone like that, who then becomes phenomenal referral partners. But we can refer them because there are folks that will come to us and they go through our training and they love our training, but now they're stuck at like negotiation skills or overcoming objections. And while we can help a little, that's not our expertise. Or for example, I had one client that said, we really need some help with our process in our CRM. I'm like, Liz Hyman, that's who you have to talk to, right? So we have the people in our, in our list that we know are fantastic because our clients told us so.
Wow.
Anything else, Dan, to add to that?
These introductions are yet another way to add value, even though it may go without saying. We talk about bringing value to potential clients, existing clients all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we're talking about content that's of value. But arguably, introductions are an even higher level of value.
Yeah.
Because they can be a source of potential business, relationships, whatever the case may be. And the other thing, Bryn, that I love is the way that it's one of these things that may go without saying, but there's a reason why you say, who is a CPA that you work with that you love working with?
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we may assume that people will only give us the names of people that they do love working with because they've received good service, it helps just to remind them, no, don't give me the name of the person that you fired. Give me the person that you like working with, because then I'll be comfortable referring them to other people.
That's a great place to. Oh, wait, do we have one more?
We have one more.
We do?
Don't be cutting Stan off, because he's got a very important one. Another one that all three of us love too, and that's testimonials and case studies, Stan.
Yep, because y'all, like you said, Bob, y'all will love this one too. With testimonials and case studies, LinkedIn gives us a great platform where people who have worked with us, loved working with us, can share why their testimonial, their recommendation in LinkedInese. And of course, we can do the same because it should be reciprocal. It's always better to have someone else talk about what a great job you do than for you to talk about it, just because there's more credibility. And then a case study, in a way, is like a higher level of testimonial, because you may need to collaborate with your marketing department and the client to put together a formal case study that talks about where the client was when they started the relationship with you, what the problem was that they were experiencing, how you helped them solve it, and what the results were, in a format that you can then share with other people. So I'll stop there, but those are two powerful.
I'd love to add just a quick little side note to that, because I love what you're saying. It's absolutely incredibly powerful. Offer to write. So this translates into recommendations on LinkedIn. Offer to write it for them, or have them talk about why they love you on a Zoom, and then use Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini to frame their words in the way that Stan just discussed, right? I think that's really important. But you said something that I think is ultra important that I want to just emphasize, which is you giving recommendations on LinkedIn is just as powerful, if not even more. When you give a recommendation, you solidify a relationship. If it's a referral partner or a client, you're deepening a relationship that really can have an impact on future business. You also have real estate on their profile. So if someone is checking them out and they see you recommended them, who doesn't want to work with a vendor who recommends, their clients, right? So if you're recommending your clients, what an impact this is going to have on your business. So love all that stuff. And guys, I have so much fun doing this with you today. I thought this was going to go really, really fast, but we got a lot of value in, which makes me really happy.
Yeah. Speaking of value, that's what we're all about. So glad to hear that. And I think we're going to go ahead and close things out. So whether you've been with us live or recorded via our podcast, we always appreciate you joining us for our episodes, including this one of Making Sales Social Live. And we do these every week. So please join us. If you're listening to us on our podcast and you haven't subscribed already, that subscribe or follow button, whatever it says there, that's all you need to do. And also drop us a like and a comment as well. So besides the LinkedIn Lives, we also interview sales and marketing business leaders, all those types of people. So catch those episodes as well. More info on our podcast is available at socialsaleslink.com/podcast. So when you're out and about this week and every week, be sure that you're making your sales
social. Almost. All right, my friends.
The mic thing kind of technology kind of gets us sometimes too. I think that's what happened there.
No, I think it's that I can't carry a beat.